From the vault, high atop the pastoral center of the Diocese of Camden, you're listening to Talking Catholic.
Hey guys, thanks so much for listening to Talking Catholic, the official podcast of the Catholic community of South Jersey. I'm Pete Sanchez with Mike Walsh. We are here at St. Margaret's Regional School today in Woodbury Heights.
We are. This is very nice. I don't think we've ever podcasted from here before.
No, I don't think we have either. We are in a first grade classroom for reasons that will become clear soon.
Yes. I've been to the school several times, mostly to watch my son play basketball here against the St. Margaret's team, which I will say he's had wonderful individual achievement against St. Margaret's teams, but the St. Michael's team that he plays for it's been an uphill climb winning games here. So it's nice to be here under more casual circumstances than me rooting for my son as he's racing across the basketball court.
I think I've been here. They do a fair every year in the parking lot, like a carnival.
Oh, the St. Margaret's Carnival?
Yes.
Oh, that's practically world famous.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It is. Our guests will have to fill us in on because that's coming up soon.
Yeah,
so
it is actually. They just contacted me about advertising in the Star Herald about it.
Oh, good.
Yes, I know. I support that.
Wonderful. Thank you, St. Margaret's, and we're looking forward to the carnival. That might be another podcast opportunity. Come back here for the carnival. I don't know.
I'm trying to think of what and who we would talk to. That's a loud experience, but
it is loud. Well,
yeah.
I don't know, a carnival worker?
I was going to say, we'll interview carnival barkers. I'm sure they have seen a lot in their lives. No doubt about that.
Or the carnies, right?
Yes.
They call them like carnies.
I wouldn't call them a carny to their face, but
no.
I hear you.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay.
I believe that is a term of derision as opposed to a term of affection.
Thanks for educating me.
No problem.
I wouldn't want to...
Don't get the carnies mad at you.
I wouldn't want to sabotage any podcast we did.
There you go.
Thank you.
No problem. So what do we have coming up?
Well, this is for all pastors, parish staff, and parishioners. They're invited to attend an introductory presentation about a new addictions ministry initiative in the diocese called I Thirst. Well, it's going to empower the church to be a resource for those struggling with addiction and their families. During this presentation, which will take place at Cumberland County College at Luciano Conference Center, it's sponsored by the Catholic Charities Diocese of Camden. This is going to be Saturday, May 4th, this Saturday, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. You're going to learn about the nature of substance abuse disorders and how the Catholic faith can be a powerful tool of prevention, and also help those participants develop a pastoral approach when treating those afflicted with substance abuse disorders, as well as their families who are affected. So this is all. I unfortunately have friends of the family, loved ones who have dealt with substance addiction. So I think this is very important to help these.
You know, it really is, and it's something that Bishop Sullivan is, as a matter of fact, since Catholic Strong has been announced, 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago at this point, he's wanted that to be a hallmark of not just the Catholic Strong program, but in particular something for Catholic Charities to begin focusing on, because what people don't realize is oftentimes when we think of abuse, we think of urban populations, but the truth of the matter is it is just as virulent, if not even worse, in suburban populations and even rural populations. So this is really something that affects every parish. You may not see it on the news the way we see other incidents, but it's something that so many families deal with, and families you wouldn't even realize. Oftentimes families that from the outside, maybe you would consider like clean cut and upstanding. There may be family members in their midst that are struggling with that. It's the scourge of dependency and addiction is awful. And so I encourage every pastor, every parish to send someone to this event. I really hope people will take advantage of it.
Again, this is Saturday, May 4th at the Luciano Conference Center on the campus of Cumberland County College. For more info, call Sylvia Lumeau, Director of Clinical Services, at 856-342-4162, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Saturday, May 4th. And next week, coming up, this is sponsored by Vitality Catholic Healthcare Services. May 8th, this is a Wednesday, there's going to be a Catholic Healthcare Services. It's hosting a day of retreat and reflection at the Discovery House, 3730 Richards Avenue in Mullica Hill. This day will all parish nurses, health ministry members, and this year all nurses and health care workers throughout the diocese, throughout South Jersey, are invited to this. This is going to start at 10 a.m. Again, it is a retreat and reflection day, Wednesday, May 8th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. RSVP is required. Call Nicole Kiefer at 856-583-6121 or email her with your interest at nicole.kiefer, Keefer, at camdendiocese.org. Again, this is sponsored by Vitality Catholic Healthcare. Then we've talked about this before on the podcast. This is a week from this Friday, May 10th at St. Charles Borromeo. Actually, it's 2 days. The first day is in Sicklerville. The second day is in Vineland. This is going to be, it's called Family in the Heart of Catechesis and Evangelization. And we'll discuss the importance of Latino family involvement in teaching kids, how to be disciples of Christ, authentic Christians, and teach the faith. And the role of the family here is called to be a domestic church, where the role of the parents is to be God's image, and how all our catechetical programs and evangelization initiatives should help the parents to recognize their role as faith educators of their children. That's what this workshop is going to do. It's going to be 9:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Friday, May 10th, 2019 at St. Charles Borromeo Parish, 176 Stagecoach Road in Sicklerville, 08081. And the next day, it's going to be at the St. John Paul II Retreat Center in Vineland, and that is free as well, the same time, 9:30 a.m. to 2:30. That one will be in Spanish, and the one in Sicklerville is in English. So come on out to this. This is going to be, again, Friday, May 10th at St. Charles Borromeo, and Saturday, May 11th at St. John Paul II Retreat Center in Vineland.
And, since we're talking about stuff that's not in your list of things, but the diaconate ordinations are going to be on March 11th at the cathedral in Camden. May 11th at the cathedral in Camden, and I want to say that they start at 10:30 in the morning, and it'll be John March and
Peter
Gallagher. Thank you. I never remember Peter's name. I hate it. I feel so bad. But Peter and John will be becoming transitional deacons, and it's a mass that's open to everyone. So if you want to come and support our hopefully soon to be priests in about a year from now, I strongly encourage you to come to the diaconate mass. It is similarly beautiful to the priest ordination mass, but some different elements of it in it, of course. But I really hope people will come to it. It's wonderful, and it's such a great way to support John and Peter on their path to the priesthood. So please come out to it.
I think it'll be great. I just have to tell, I worked with John at St. Rose of Lima. We were catechists together, and I've known him for ever since then, and just a wonderful, holy man. I'm very excited for him. So I'll be there.
I know, they're both incredibly nice.
They are.
Yeah,
Peter's great, too.
I find it very disturbing how nice they are. People shouldn't be this nice, but they are absolutely lovely human beings, and they're going to make great priests.
They are. Well, come out and support vocations and support Peter and John on Saturday, May 11th at 10:30 at the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception.
And double check that time, because I'm not entirely certain if it's 10:30, but I think it's 10:30.
And all these announcements and more can be found on camdendiocese.org, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there's a calendar on the right-hand side. But 2 days after the transitional diacon ordination, Monday, May 13th, a Mass of Remembrance and Healing will be celebrated at the Church of the Resurrection in Marmora for those who have suffered the loss of a child of any age through miscarriage, stillbirth, abortion, SIDS, illness, an overdose, suicide, or any untimely death. We encourage and welcome all members of the family and friends affected by the loss of your beloved child to join in this massive celebration. And as well, you're invited to bring a picture or special remembrance of your child, and roses will be available for those who have lost their child before birth. And Monsignor Michael Mannion and Monsignor Peter Joyce will be celebrating this Mass on Monday, May 13th, 7 p.m. in Marmora at Church of the Resurrection. And for more info, call Betty at 609-425-3553. And then Catholic Charities.
This is always one of our favorites every year. It's the one that I've known. We put all these things up on social media, and this is the one that spikes the most because, quite frankly, it provides a service that far too many people are in need of. But it's a job opportunity. Opportunities.
I'm very happy to say that this is going to happen at Corimba Hall, 9 North Georgia Avenue in Atlantic City.
Well, we didn't actually say what it is.
It is Employment and Resource Fair.
There you go.
It's hosted by Catholic Charities Employment Services and Assistance Program. Tuesday, May 21st from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Bring your resume and dress to impress. Some of the employers ready to hire include Walmart, Atlantic Air, Stockton University, the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, Doc's Oyster House, Caesars Entertainment, the Knife and Fork Inn, and there'll be resources as well for on-the-spot assistance. For more information, call 856-394-3071. Again, Employment and Resource Fair, hosted by the Catholic Charities Employment Services and Assistance Program, Tuesday, May 21st from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yeah, great thing to go to. If you're in between jobs or looking for a job, looking for a better job, or your situation has not put you in a position where you can get a job and now you can, I highly encourage people to come out to it. It's a great opportunity, and they do a great job. And those places are all wonderful places to work. I think this is the first time. I want to say this is the first time they're doing it on the shore side of the diocese. So I think this will be good for people down there who are sort of in between jobs right now with the summer season approaching.
It seems to be a lot of shore jobs too are available. So Doc's Oyster House, which is right around the corner.
Oh yeah, well we're coming up on shore season, so everyone's trying to fill those positions for the summer season.
Yeah.
In addition to full-time year-round positions.
I always wanted to work at the Skipper Dipper in Long Beach Island. But
what is the Skipper Dipper in Long Beach?
The Skipper Dipper is an ice cream joint at Long Beach Island. And I was always thinking, when I was in high school, I'm like, man, I should get a job during the summer just at the Skipper Dipper.
Yeah, you can get a job now, too.
I know. I might have to moonlight. I might have to commute.
Hey, man, as a guy who has worked multiple jobs at any given time in my career, I'm a big fan of it. Earn a little extra money, make sure it's a job you like doing, that you actually enjoy going to talk to the people, or in this case, eat all the ice cream.
I do love ice cream.
Yeah, see? No, I think people who work full-time jobs and, don't have the crushing weight of parenthood on them, man, work as many jobs as you can. It's a blast.
Well, Skipper Dipper, if you need a writer and...
maybe, or how about if they just need someone dipping ice cream?
Exactly.
Just do that.
Well,
don't worry about a writer.
Well,
multitask.
I'm just thinking marketing too. Anyway, so
anyway.
Mike, where
I have no idea. Oh, we're at St. Margaret's church right now. Yeah. St. Margaret's school right now, but I have no idea why.
Well, we are here
because you wrote the story on the person already.
I did. I interviewed this woman, Kalley Petito. Kalley, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
And you are a first grade teacher. We are in your classroom here at St. Margaret's School, and you wrote a book. You emailed. A few weeks ago, you emailed me and talking about this book that you wrote called Mr. Petito and the Punks. And I love it because not only is it alliteration, but it uses my name, P, in theirs too. Or, I love that letter P. So it just all is, it's a wonderful book. And we spoke a bit last week for the Star Herald on this. And you just have a fascinating story. As somebody who loves to read, as somebody who grew up reading, it touched me, your book. And so how did this, speak a bit, let's start at the beginning. How did you get the genesis to write this book?
Well, I always wrote cards for my parents, like little rhyming cards and things like that. And then about 25 years ago, I wrote part of this story, and just for fun, out of my imagination, and it was sitting in my file cabinet for the last 25 years.
Wow. That is sitting on a manuscript for a while. Wow.
So every year at St. Margaret's, we have an author. We just had author day here on Wednesday, and they bring an author in, and they do some kind of assembly thing, and the author signs the books and tells their story. And so last year, since my kids are older now, I said, you know what, I'm going to go clean out some things, and I found it in the back of my file cabinet, and I pulled it out, and I read through it, and I was telling Pete I wrote it on a word processor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
vintage.
I don't even know if kids even know what that is, but it's a really heavy computer that you could carry around that I had in college. So I said, I'm going to type this up on a real computer now. And before it didn't have God and the word prayer in it, and I added that.
Yeah, I'm curious. What you said, sort of where you were in your time when you did it, but what actually inspired you to write this story in particular?
Well, excuse me. My husband, we've been married for 23 years, and so we were dating. So he wanted to be a teacher, so I was fooling around, with
as one does, sure.
Yeah, and I said I'll just write this little story, and I'll put my husband in it, and I'll add kids. Now, of course, we didn't have any kids at that time, and it winds up there's 3 punks in the story, and I have 3 kids who are not punks, but people who know me, when they see the kids in the book, the kids resemble my kids. Mm-hmm. So that's what I did. I took the book and I rewrote it, and I said I looked it up online. I wanted to find a Christian publisher, and I contacted them, and they said, you can send it in, but just know that the majority of the books are children's books. So, it's higher chance of getting a no than a yes. So I said, okay, that's fine. If I doesn't get published, then I will use it in my classroom for fun.
Sure.
And that was my expectation.
Yeah. And then how much time went by before you found out they were going to publish it?
A week.
A week? Wow. That is an unusually fast turnaround for a publisher.
It went before like a board of 7 people, and they called me back because it's short. It's a kid's story, so there's only 10 written pages and then 10 illustrations. So they said yes, and I could think about it. And on Father's Day, I signed my contract.
Wow, that's outstanding.
Yes.
I was reading through. You are, by the way, from now on, Pete. Whenever you ask the question, Mike, what was the last book you read? I can tell you for at least the next 5 years, because I never finish a book. I finished this book earlier today when Pete put it on my desk. So you are now the answer to the question. Hey, Mike, what book have you read recently? This one. But I'm curious, who did the illustrations?
So obviously, for a kid's book, you need illustrations, and I can't draw. Mm-hmm. So the publisher gives you choices of like 10 different. They're like computer programs, and you got to pick which one you want. And then you tell them, like, so the one punk I wanted to be, my older son is going in the Army, and so I wanted him to have big muscles and wear Army green. Yes. And
okay.
the girl in the book, my daughter has big hair, like big fluffy hair, and I said the girl needs to have big fluffy hair. So that's my daughter. And then my youngest son always wants to get this really close haircut that you're not allowed to have at St. Margaret's because, it's Catholic school and you can't have like a big difference between the hair. And he always told me when he was a little boy he had green eyes. So the boy in the book has green eyes and like really close cut hair with the long on the top.
See, I love that. That's like the written version of a movie Easter egg. The little pops of things that if you know the story, you understand. And does that mean your husband's also a big fan of muscle shirts? And
that's a funny story because no, the only thing I said to the illustrator was for my husband, he has to have these pink and purple pinstripe pants on because it goes with the P theme, and he also has to have big square glasses because when I met him, he had big square glasses.
Okay.
So this is how this turned out is not what I was thinking at all. Really, I was thinking pinstripe pants going down. And and I wasn't thinking muscle shirt at all. And he has muscles, but maybe not quite so big as in this book.
It's very kind of you to put it that way.
And this is how he came back from the illustrator. So I said, so someone saw it different than I was picturing it, but I liked it. So I said, sure, why not?
That's actually one of the nice things about turning things over to somebody else and seeing their version of what you might have in mind. I have to do that a lot. I have a number of staff people underneath me that are always creating content. And it took a little while for me to get comfortable with giving them an idea and just letting them run with it. But I will tell you, more often than not, unless Pete does it, more often than not, it's fantastic. If Pete does it, then I got to edit all over the place. No, just kidding. No, it's really fun to do that because then you get to see that other person's vision of your idea. And 9 times out of 10, there's something added that I would never have thought of. Now, I read. Now, I'm curious. So there's a lot of P alliteration in it. Just how difficult was it to come up with all those P words?
I'm sorry to say it came quickly to me.
Did it
That's how
really?
my brain works.
Wow.
Yes.
Are you thesaurus-like in your knowledge of things? Because there was one word. I'm going to see if I can find it. There was one word that I actually meant to look up because I read it and go, I have no idea what this
Might have
word
been
is.
pernicious.
I was thinking
No,
pernicious
it wasn't
too.
pernicious. Pernicious I got. No, it was a thing. It was, you guys talking. I'm going to look it up.
Well, it was so the P obviously came from Petito.
Yes. Mhm.
And that's in the punks came just with the P version.
With the P, yes.
So wow, and like I said, I think this should be the first in the alphabet series. So the next one can be, M or N. That could come pretty easy too, probably, right?
I have a sequel that I've written that I don't know if I'm going to send it in yet. I want to see how this book has only been out since February 20th. So, one thing at a time. And we'll see where it goes.
Have you been happy to see the response you've gotten from the book? Like, have you gotten numbers from the publisher of sales and things like that?
Well, that's coming. So what the sales quarter is January, February, March. So the book didn't get published until February 20th. And then, so in May, I'll know. So pretty soon I should know how many books I sold. But the best part of it's been here at St. Margaret's, kids that I've taught have bought the book and they bring it in. The teacher lets them come down and they've asked me to sign their books. Mm-hmm. So that has been the best thing. And the other thing is I read it at a school. Somebody asked me at my husband's school if I would come in and read it. And to see the kids, my husband came with me, asking him, does he have these pants, these purple and pink striped pants?
Have you gotten him these purple and pink?
No, but I'm going to be looking for them. So maybe with summertime coming, we might be able to find them.
I did find the word. It wasn't a word I didn't understand. It was my eyes were looking one place and I was reading the words elsewhere. You referred to his periwinkle Pontiac.
Yes.
And for whatever reason, I was looking at his sleeveless shirt that he's wearing. And I'm like, is it Pontiac another? Because it was blue, and I was like, is it Pontiac another word for a shirt? And then I looked at the next paragraph and went, oh, he parked his I was like, oh, yes. Of course, the car.
Yes.
Mike, you idiot.
I love, and you were telling me something. You mentioned briefly earlier on the podcast, and you told me this before. Something I find really cool is the way you design when you send out greeting cards to people. You create your own. Can you explain what you do there with that, and who do you send them to?
So that's when I was younger and in college and things, because I didn't have a lot of money. So I would always make rhyming cards, and that's how it kind of started. And my kids' birthday parties, for the family parties, I always made invitations. Everything rhymed, and so all these years I've just been making the invitations for my kids' parties rhyming, and now I turned it into something.
So you sort of have a natural ability with rhyming? I've always had a hard time with that.
Or that I'm just silly. Silly. You have to be silly to be a first grade teacher.
Well, every author I've ever met is a little, how shall we say, nuts.
Oh,
so I think being silly is probably the most useful version of that nuts. So I like that. That's good.
Speaking of rhyming, when I think of rhyming, I think of Dr. Seuss.
Right.
Kind of, is that something? Did you grow up? What kind of books were you? Did you when you were in first grade? What did you gravitate to?
And I'm dying for you to say Stephen King novels, just to throw off his whole perspective.
No.
Okay.
Frog and Toad. That was very popular back then. Frog and Toad, and also Nancy Drew. My aunt had all the Nancy Drew series, and I don't know if you ever heard of the Bobbsey twins.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My son actually just started reading Nancy Drew stories this year, as a matter of fact. Yeah, he bounces back and forth between Nancy Drew and the brothers. What were the brothers' version?
The Hardy Boys. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Look, because they crossed over. I was a big Hardy Boys fan, but every now and then they were in their own universe, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They kind of were. They crossed over. Every now and then Nancy Drew would pop up. And
they
vice
worked
versa.
together. To solve a mystery.
That was cool. Because I knew my female. It was neat. It was. But both of them, I think, were. And that writing, I'm not so familiar with the Bobbsey twins, but they were just fascinating.
Well, they were mysteries. They were fun. For me, growing up, it wasn't. I read them a little bit, but I read. It was Encyclopedia Brown.
Oh,
yeah.
Loved
Encyclopedia Brown. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
that was my
Remember those.
favorite. And then I did a lot of Choose Your Own Adventure books. Yeah, those were fun to do as back in the day too. I am not creative enough for rhyming books. We actually in 8th grade we were able to write a Choose Your Own Adventure book as our class assignment. It was me and 4 of my friends got to write one as part of a contest. They'd reached out to schools across the country for people to submit stories, and we were during English class, we were allowed to move to another part of the school and just focus on the book, which is probably not a great idea because to this day I cannot diagram a sentence. And it was because it was during that time period that we were out during that semester, which drives me nuts because my son will bring something home nowadays and goes, "Dad, can you?" I'm like, "Nope, can't help you with that at all. That and math, can't do either one of those two
That's
things."
why you have the internet. Everything's on the internet. You can help.
Yes.
It's gonna help you out.
That's right. YouTube. Kid, go to YouTube. That's a better parent for you, right? For this, in this regard.
My brain was hurting when you said diagramming sentences, Mike. I'm the same way.
Oh yeah.
It is. Well, Kalley, just speak to about your book. You mentioned you put God and prayer in there, and one of the things I appreciate, I'm sure Mike did too, about this. You put that in there, and also you. I'll let you explain it. What kind of values did you put into this book? What do you want? What do you want readers to get out of this?
Well, originally when they said that they would publish it, I went home and told my family, and I'm like, okay, that's good enough. I'm good with it. And they're like, no, Mom, you have to do it. You have to do it. And I was like, I don't know. And then someone said to me, if your book about kindness helps one kid, then you've done your job.
Yep.
So that's why I did it.
I think that's a good reason to do it. I mean, I think that's actually one of the best reasons to do it is knowing that you're going to go out and help somebody. That's essentially everything we do with everything I do in my life is there's an outside chance this might help someone. And why not? And this is certainly a unique way, particularly as you know and as we know how hard it is to get in front of children, and particularly in a world where everything is digitized.
Yes.
Being able to actually put a book together that they can look at and read and touch and feel and keep, something that's not going to go off into the ether 10 seconds after they've done watching it. I think that's wonderful. I mean, actually, you've accomplished a task that I am incredibly fearful of. I was actually thinking about this on the way over. How many different kinds of things have I written in my life? I've written term papers, and I've written newspaper articles and press releases and scripts and speeches and probably anything that can be written, I have written. Short stories. I have never attempted to write a book, and it's the thing that scares me more than anything else. Even a children's novel, like putting together putting that kind of thought into it and actually thinking of a beginning, a middle, and an end. And in your case, adding alliteration and rhyming to it, it's like, geez, I can't imagine a scenario where I'd be able to pull that off. So I'm actually fascinated that you did that, even if it was sitting in a drawer for 25 years, Now,
do you have a writing process? Do you remember what it was?
Things just pop into my head. I work with Mrs. Traxler. She's my aide, and things just pop into my head, and I'll go say, Mrs. Traxler, we need to do this, or I have an idea for the bulletin board, and that's just how I work. Things pop into my head, and I'll write it down. So this idea popped in my head, and I wrote it down, and that's it.
So now we have to wait for the next thing to pop into your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that you've sort of had this success, are you thinking in the back of your mind there could be a series of these, or you might go in different directions and write different kind of things?
I did write a sequel. Once they accepted it, I wrote a sequel, but I want to see how this goes, and it's very time consuming. And I work full time here, and I do have 3 children, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Now, you told us about how you drew up, or how you suggested that the kids be drawn.
Yes.
How did the kids feel about how they were drawn?
Well, when I never told them I sent my book in. I told them, that they said yes, but I never told them what the name of my book was. They didn't know until my copy got delivered to my door.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I told them they were all in it, but I don't think they understood that I made the characters look like them.
Yeah.
And I mean, my husband's name is Mr. Petito, of course, so that's for him. But in the inside of the book, I have who it's dedicated to: Danimal, Andy, Girl, and Mick, which are my nicknames for my kids. And I always say, "Go make a difference in the world," which is also what I have for the dedication. And I was telling Pete that that's like on Fridays, I either put "Enjoy God's World" or "Go make a difference."
I love it.
So
That's awesome.
hopefully, when they leave first grade, the children will go make some kind of difference, help somebody. We do a lot of service projects, that will hopefully help somebody.
You mentioned at the beginning of the podcast that at the time your husband was looking to become a teacher at that time, and when you wrote this book. So what brought you into teaching?
I always played teacher when I was a little girl. Always. I had old books, and my mother was actually a gym teacher, and my father, he was a teacher, and then a vice principal, and then a principal. So I was always in education that way. But truthfully, I wanted to be a dolphin trainer.
Wow.
And the other thing is, I had actually, when I graduated high school, I had gotten an ROTC scholarship, Marine Corps.
Wow.
Yes. So, not quite me. I was good at the running. I was good at the academics. But truthfully, to eat, I had to say, one shot, one kill, blood makes the grass grow. And that wasn't really me.
That's
so
easy.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, if you don't feel it in your soul, that's a little difficult.
Right.
Although, by the same token, your son's about to graduate through the ROTC program, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's fantastic. I love that. I live in Glassboro. Your son goes to Rowan,
sure,
so
sure.
I'm an 8-minute walk from my kitchen to Bunce Hall.
Okay.
So I'll be thinking of you as I'm trying not to run over anybody during graduations. As a matter of
Graduation,
fact.
I'll be there May 14th. Don't run me over.
I will do my best not to run you over.
I'll be there May
promise.
15th for the commissioning, too. So that's 2 days I'll be there. Yeah.
Where's the commissioning taking place this year?
It's going to be in the new business building. I forget what
that'd be
it's
a good
called
location.
right now.
Yeah, right.
But that's where it's going to be.
Oh yeah, why can't I remember it?
It's not Roar.
It is
no.
Roar.
Is it Roar?
I think
yeah.
it is the Roar building.
Yes.
Oh well, that's very nice. Well, congratulations to him and to you.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. And you said Army ROTC's going through?
Yes. So he'll be commissioned as an officer, and he's leaving to go to missile school June 5th.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Well, at least you got him home for a little bit before he goes off. Where's missile school at?
Oklahoma. Oklahoma.
That'll be a good experience for him too.
So you know where I'm going on vacation. I'm going to Oklahoma.
Hey,
Never been there before, but
it's flat. Don't go during tornado season, but love the barbecue and love the music. Great music down there. Good country music down there.
Bluegrass, right? Don't they do bluegrass?
Oh yeah. That's great. And the people there are incredibly nice. So
I'm going to go wherever he goes. So last year he was in Kentucky at Fort Knox. So we went on vacation in Kentucky. So
that's the nice thing about Army bases. They all tend to be in the South. My brother-in-law is a SEAL, and so he's been stationed all over the world. And when he's in the States, it's almost always in the South where he gets stationed. And it's great for me because I love eating Southern food and listening to Southern music and just hanging out. And most of the bases are usually pretty cool to hang out at, except for the one in North Carolina that he was
Fort Bragg.
Fayetteville, North Carolina.
That's where my son's getting stationed.
Oh, is that really?
108th Airborne Artillery.
Okay, well,
Yes.
the food is outstanding. The drive down is simple, but there is not much to Fayetteville.
Yeah.
So, downtown Fayetteville is really nice, but at the outer perimeters, it's, growing up in South Jersey is not that too far up.
Right.
Just a lot less trees.
Well, I will say that I lived on, Aleutian Islands in Adak. My mom and her husband were stationed there, and I lived on the Aleutian Islands.
Okay.
So I know about
You
there,
understand then.
and I know about not a lot there. We had the McDonald's and the base. That was it. And then the tundra.
Yeah, here at least you'll have Bojangles, Smithfields, and Waffle House. Beautiful Waffle House. I love the
They're
Waffle
supposed to be
House.
good.
Oh, they're
I need
fantastic.
to- yeah,
The Waffle House, in Fayetteville, there's a Waffle House that's in the parking lot of it's not a Marriott, I forget what it is. Might be a Holiday Inn. It's outstanding.
So I should stay there when I go visit.
Yes.
Definitely.
Shortest walk between the hotel and the closest Waffle House. That's my key to surviving Fayetteville. So it's great there.
I love how you, Mike. When I think Waffle House, I think of you.
You should.
I'm glad you could bring that
I should be
in.
the poster child for Waffle House. I don't disagree with you. And they don't need to pay me in money. They can pay me in Waffle House. I'll be fine with it.
Maybe you could do a podcast from there.
Oh, in a heartbeat. You know, that's the problem. One of the problems is the closest one is Elkton, Maryland, which I don't have a problem going to. But I'm telling you, if they ever put a Waffle House in the Diocese of Camden region of South Jersey, we will do a podcast from there on the opening weekend. I make that a promise.
You better get that in writing,
That sounds
Pete.
good to me. That sounds good to me.
Waffle House. We'll be there. I promise.
So, Kalley,
Yes.
you grew up in PA, I think, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I graduated high school in Williamsport, Pennsylvania,
Oh,
which
baseball.
is home of the
Yeah.
Little League. Yes, it
Nice.
is.
Sure.
Yep, home of the Little League. And then my father was the principal there, and he retired from the state of Pennsylvania, and he moved here.
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of how I got here.
And what other, just speak a bit what more with, what else kind of inspires you besides the books?
Well, I just read a book. Just books can be inspiring. I just read over the break. I'm going to say this the wrong way. I think it's called The Same Kind of Different. It was a movie. And I just got finished reading that book. And it was about a homeless man and a lady who wanted to do more than just give money to a homeless shelter. And she went and changed. She went and changed the homeless man. And he actually took over the shelter. She wound up getting cancer and dying, and he took over the shelter. So I just like to read, and especially books that are going, like that's an inspirational book that then I found it on TV. They made a movie out of it. So
Oh,
Wow.
it's on Netflix.
Oh, it's called The Right Kind of Difference? Or what?
The same but different.
Same but
than-
different.
Same but
Same different as me. Something like that. But if you Google it, it will come up.
Okay. And where can people find your book?
It's on Amazon.com. It's on BarnesandNoble.com. And like I said, it just came out February 20th. So if I sell enough books, then it could actually be on the shelves. But right now it's not. It's all online.
Okay.
Okay. And with, and there was this thought is escaping me now. I just had it. Mike, if you have a question, I can't.
You're not even old yet.
I'm trying to. It was about the author. You mentioned you were telling me you were doing author tours around the area where you're going to different places to talk about the book.
Oh, I only went to one school where my husband works. They had a night where the kids come in their pajamas, and they and they have cookies and milk, and so I went to that school, and that was really fun because my husband came with me, and that's when they were asking about the purple and pink pants if my husband had those pants.
I love it
So-
when authors do stuff like that. And that's, first of all, kudos to your husband's school. Which school does he work at?
He works in the Deptford district.
Okay. So kudos to your husband's school for doing that. I think those are great nights. Anything that brings authors in to meet with kids, I think is wonderful. Secondly, I love going to author readings like that, like for any kind of a book. Like I keep an eye. Rowan was doing it for a while, and then I think they stopped. But the Barnes and Noble on Rowan's
Yes,
campus
I've
was
been
doing it all the time, and it was fantastic. Like they had some really good authors that came in. But that was when the place first opened, and I have a feeling they were just trying to drive traffic. But
Right,
they
right.
must have done it for, I think they did it once a month for a year, and it was great. But anytime I can go over to the Philadelphia Library, they'll do it. It's really wonderful. So for anyone who's out there who runs those things, call Kalley, because as you can tell from the podcast, she's very good.
Yeah. And the book is geared what age range?
Since it's about kindness and has a lesson, it can be read, nursery school through 8th grade. But you can also use it as a teaching tool. I know our 7th grade teacher, she read it here to her classes. And, it does have alliteration in it. It does have a couple words that you might have to look up. But I would say mainly for a child to read it themselves and understand it, it should be maybe 4th through 6th grade. But younger kids can still understand the lesson. And like I said, you can use the rhyming. I read it to my class. A couple teachers, read it to their classes, and one of the teachers had me come in, and they kids asked me all kinds of questions. Yeah, they asked me if I was going to quit St. Margaret's because I'm making so much money.
That's the thing nobody realizes about writing books. Nobody gets rich writing a book unless it gets made into a movie
or you're Dr. Seuss.
Or you're Dr. Seuss, right?
Because by the time, no offense to the publisher and no offense to Barnes & Noble and Amazon, but, by the time everybody gets their cut, there's not a lot left for you.
No, that's the thing about being an author. You become an author because you want to become an author, not because you plan on getting rich. Getting rich is the getting lucky part.
Yeah.
See, that's just the purest form of authorship, though. Like, that's your passion is clear in that book. And there you go. There's another P, the passion of Mrs. Petito.
That's right.
That's what we should just call this podcast.
The passion of Mrs. Petito? That
podcast.
might be confusing.
That might be a little confusing.
With the passion of the passionately...
Nah, I'm happy with our podcast. I'm not changing that anytime soon. I'm too low key to put passion anywhere near my name. But that's okay. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, could I do a commercial for St. Margaret's?
Of course you can.
About the carnival?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
So the carnival is every year, and I don't know how many years it's been going on, but when my older son, who's 22, was first born, we've been coming to the carnival since then. Brought the stroller, and every year, he even came back last year with us. He came one night. He came to the carnival. So come on out. It starts May 20th. It starts at 6 o'clock. I think it's 6 to 10 during the week, or 6 to 11. I'm not sure. And on the weekends, it's 6 to 12, I think. And there's food, and there's rides, and there's games. And
it's big too. It's
big.
a big. I mean, it's one of the bigger carnivals I've ever been to.
And it's a fundraiser. It helps our school out a lot. And also, you'll see teachers working. Some of them. I usually work the ladder thing where you climb up the ladder. So
the rope ladder.
The rope ladder. Yes.
Okay, I know what
I
you're
usually
talking
work
about.
that game.
That is an evil game. My son has been trying to beat that game for 4 years now.
Yes, there's
Ain't
all
happened
kinds
yet.
of rules, but
Yes.
I don't make the rules. I just hold the ladder, and then you gotta. When it gets to the third rung, you have to let go. So that's the rule. So
No,
come on
that's
out.
great. Yeah, no, that's a lot of. And what are the dates again?
May 20th it starts, Monday, May 20th, and it's all that week through Saturday.
Perfect. No, I love a good carnival.
Yeah.
Good carnival food.
That sounds... Ooh, funnel cake? There'll be
cakes,
funnel cake there?
Pete, they have ice cream. Yes, they do.
You know what? Maybe they'll let you scoop it too.
Yes.
If you ask real nice.
Yes,
you-
my dream.
Then you can put that on your resume for, what was the name of the place?
The Skipper Dipper.
I've never heard of the Skipper
Never
Dipper.
heard of it.
Oh,
I
it's
guess-
good in Long Beach Island, New Jersey.
Okay.
So,
In North Jersey.
I guess. Yeah, it's about an hour. That's where, more Yankee fans go there. I'm a Phillies fan, but I was very surprised when I went up there. It's all Yankee Giants stuff. And it's like, wait a minute, where are the Eagles and Phillies?
I've lived in South Jersey my entire life. I didn't go there till I was 37. Was the first time I went. It was there, and I had to go there for a meeting. I'd always heard about LBI this, LBI that, and never went there.
See, I went there before I've gone to Wildwood or AC or Ocean City. I have family up in North Jersey.
Well, that's because
so
your family's all in North Jersey.
Yeah. So it's home to me. It's a second home, and I love the Skipper Dipper.
Where, for Kalley, it was, the Bering Strait. Is what she grew up with. So it's a completely different sort of...
So I'm going to say to my husband, he has to take all of us to
Skipper
the
Dipper.
Skipper Dipper.
Yeah, of
I've
course.
never been there.
Yes, it is. Yeah, LBI. You just take the Parkway. You can get on the expressway right to the Parkway. I think it's exit 64, or you can take Route 70 to Route 72, and that'll take you all the way out.
We always go to Seattle
I can
because
be a
that's where
tour
my
guide.
husband always
Okay.
went. Yeah. And my brother-in-law has a house there, so
Yeah.
that's where we usually go.
Ocean City for me.
Yeah.
We hit all the shore towns, but Ocean City is always our home base.
And the Mac, what is it? The Manco pizza? That's good.
Yes,
I think
Manco's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
So does my husband. He loves Mac. What's just Mac now or Manco?
Well,
Which one
it
is
used to be
now?
Mac and Manco's,
Yeah.
and now it's Manco's
It's
and
just,
Manco's.
Oh, Manco and Manco. That's right. Yeah.
There was some infighting in the family.
Yeah, I thought
some
that's
legal
what
issues.
happens. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Something happened there. I don't know exactly what, but yeah. there
Yeah,
was
we
some
don't
kind
need
of
it.
problem. Yeah.
As long as the pizza still tastes
Yeah,
good, which it
that's
does.
good. That's
yeah,
right.
That's all we need.
Yeah.
Well, Kalley, thank you so much for visiting, for letting us visit with you. Actually, this is
Thank
outstanding.
you. I appreciate it.
And I will say your first grade chairs are very comfortable. So the kids seem to be doing well. Actually, it was nice coming in here because there was still, even though it was after school, there were still some kids walking around doing stuff. I was like, man, it's always refreshing. I love coming to schools because it's like there's always an energy to it. It's always very nice. This is a very nice school. If you haven't been to St. Margaret's and you're looking for a place in the West Deptford area, or Yeah, West Deptford, right? No.
This is Woodbury Heights. but
Woodbury Heights area.
I would like to make one more
Yes.
announcement.
Yes.
Next Thursday, we're having an open house here
Oh,
from 7 to 8, I believe, next Thursday. So if they want to come on out to St. Margaret's.
and
Check it
for all the schools who are kvetching right now that we're giving free podcast plugs to St. Margaret's School, that just means you need to invite us to your school so we can get plugs as well. So
Exactly.
we're not giving St. Margaret's any more love than we give any other school. Although, of course, my son goes to St. Michael's, and I've never done a podcast from there yet, so I probably will catch some flack for that.
I don't know. You've given a lot of promotion over these last 118. Just
To St.
talking
Michael's?
just talking about them.
Well, I'm talking about
Keep
my
your-
son. I didn't actually.
Well, you do mention St.
That being said, if you live in the Glassboro area, you should definitely be sending your children to St.
Definitely.
Michael's.
I've been to St. Michael's for basketball, by the way, and it is a very nice school.
Thank you very much. It is. It's very nice. In bucolic, Clayton, New Jersey, where I grew up.
I think that's your favorite word,
It
bucolic.
is.
You say
Well, it's
that
because
a lot.
it's the only way to properly reference South Jersey. Yeah, because it's the rolling, flat rolling hills, but the farmland, the trees. Like I walked outside yesterday, and it smelled so nice last night. Because I don't know why, actually. It was just a beautiful smelling spring evening, and we had just gotten home from my son playing baseball, and I got out of the car. I was like, oh wow, that's a nice spring day right there, spring night. I almost thought about making a fire last night because it was just so lovely out.
It was kind of crisp, like
Yeah.
50s.
Yeah, well, that sounds more like a fall night. No, this was, I don't know how to describe it. There was a, I don't know, almost like a spring mist in the air. It was just great.
I
I,
know what
loved
you
it.
mean.
Yeah, it was
No,
perfect.
I
So
love-
everybody, go outside, take Kalley's book with you, read it to your kids or your neighbors or your dog if you got a dog that needs to learn to not be a punk, and then just enjoy the outdoors. All right, everybody.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you very much, Kalley. Thank you for St. Margaret's for hosting us, and thank you, Pete, for setting this up. And
Thank
thank
you,
you
Mike.
listeners, for listening in. We'll check in with you next week.